Listen, I got all the time in the world today, and there's two more big topics that I want to touch on. So if you have the time, if not, we can come back and we can make this part. All right. Okay. So we're gonna get. Let's just call travel ball talk. We'll get to travel baseball later. I talk about travel ball all the time. I want to hear about MVP International. MVP International has become a much bigger part of your day-to-day life. Can you sort of introduce what MVP International is, where it came from, and the growth that you've seen over the last few years, and where you see this thing going over the next couple of years?
Man, absolutely. We just had a meeting we're taking 3 teams of Dominican in August, and just had a meeting last night with a bunch of families. MVP International, it started with MVP, the brand. MVP is a brand. It's a baseball school. I started in 2002 with Scotty Rowland, and now I live in Florida. And then in 2009, I took a team for a group out of the Midwest. I was asked to take a team over to Germany to play. And I said no at first. My wife said I was crazy because I thought my idea of vacation was coaching baseball, go to a beach. Early 2000s down in Cocoa Beach, I knew that this thing was going to go international. You could just see it. So we get to 2009. I ended up taking a team for a group out of the Midwest. I took 3 tours for them, 9, 10, 11, and it was incredible. Absolutely. I was enamored with seeing the world. And, because it's the fear of the unknown. But once you do it, man, I was like, God, I have just been, like, so naive. Like, there's so much more out here, and these people are incredible. And so this is life. This is living. So anyway, a guy, Russ Ramsey from FBR. Russ is a tremendously successful businessman in Northern Virginia. And Jimmy Moraz, a bunch of guys that I coached their kids. They're actually on the trip with me in Italy, and they said, Russ walked me through Florence and said, hey, man, you got something here. You need to do this on your own because you can do it better, and you're a bigger brand than these guys. And so, you know what? We went out, we did it different. And so in 2013, took our first team. I partnered up with Matt Foley, one of my former players, Ultimate Player of the Year from 2003. I've got a number of Madison former players that work with us. We've got over 20 people on our staff. And we've taken thousands of kids overseas to play and compete in sports, not just baseball, either ice hockey, basketball. Coach Tugwell's taking his second pickleball trip of retirees. We're doing lacrosse. We've gone and won the Prague Cup. So we're based right out of Vienna, Virginia. And my kids have gone to numerous countries and gotten to play overseas. My son Josh learned to pitch in Puerto Rico and the Dominican. He's pitched in Europe. Trevor's played. It's just been amazing. Samantha played against 4 or 5 of the national teams overseas, the Austrian national team, the British national team, on a softball tour years ago. So they're a big part of it too. And Samantha's worked for us. Josh has done some stuff. But I think the biggest impact it's had is everybody's locked in on, you get locked in on, the Perfect Game has a great purpose. It does great things for great people. So, PBRs and all these guys. But this is different. I don't want to go sit in Lake Point for a week. I'd rather go to Italy and play baseball. And because baseball's booming in Europe, in Latin America. We've sent teams to Japan, Asia, Australia. And if you're going to spend that kind of money, get something out of it, get an experience. It's just not the baseball or the sports part. It's literally going, and it's the things we do on these tours. And it's family-based. It's not just a player going over the coach. You're representing your country, the United States over there. It's a big deal. They get fired up to have us. And, heck, I've done things I never would do on a vacation, and we stay at high-end hotels. We do it right. It's first class, everything. And all you got to do is pack your bags. We start training about 7 to 8 days before with intense training with some of the best coaches in the country, whether it be high school. We've got college coaches going. We've got some pro guys getting on board. I mentioned Billy Wagner earlier. We're working on something with him right now in the DR, hoping to get Billy involved, and Brandon Geyer and those guys. So, anyway, it's become more than I ever thought it could, and we're excited. We've got over 30 trips planned for this summer in 23. We're already selling 24. And I think the biggest thing is the foundation. We started the Athletic Dream Foundation, MVP Athletic Dream Foundation, because it came from back in 19. We were in the Dominican. We took 30 bags of gear over to Pedro Martinez's school. He didn't have a baseball academy. He actually has a school over there. And we literally delivered to 200 kids bags of gear that my son kind of led the gear drive with Eli Facenda, another former player of mine. And it was incredible to be able to make a difference. And from that day on, it totally changed me, because we came back, we said, one of O'Kelly McWilliams, who plays at Wofford, his dad is one of my partners as well, and he's our attorney. He said, Pudge, we can make a difference worldwide. So we started the MVP Athletic Dream Foundation now, and starting in 24, we're taking corporate sponsors. We've got MLB, we're talking with them, and we're doing some cool stuff, and we're literally looking, now we'll be able to send the gear down instead of carrying it there, and do some things with these funds and the support. It's a whirlwind. And, what we're looking to do is be able to sponsor some people maybe that couldn't afford to go on these trips, such as teachers or police officers. We had one young man last year in Charleston, South Carolina, raised $15,000 in our fundraiser to send his mom and dad. His dad's a police officer. And so then we came up with the idea, like, how cool would it be to be able to send first responders or our military or people that couldn't afford to do this, because it's not cheap, but you know what, there's no price tag on experiences and family time. And, I think that's big. We've got some families that have gone on 7 to 8 trips now with us. So, again, this has gone from Northern Virginia, a 20-mile radius. Now we're sending teams from all over the country. So we're real excited about it.
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, I'll give you a testimonial. We spoke about Mark earlier, Mark Polymeropoulos, ex-CIA leadership speaker, and his kid will be transferring from Richard Bland over to Eastern Mennonite. But he went on a couple of these trips with you, and he says it's the most memorable thing he did with his kid through the baseball process. So it's like, yeah, those weekend showcase events are sort of a dime a dozen these days. It's these other things. It's these life experiences. It's the trip. We're playing baseball on the trip to the Dominican, but that's a whole lot different than the weekend showcase at XYZ University.
And they're also getting to eat. We invite the players. We do meals with the teams afterward. We had bonfires. We're on beach parties, and so the players, they're getting to interact with kids. You're getting we're growing leaders. That's what we're doing, and you're not missing college. These kids are still going to play college baseball, but they will all, every one of them, to a man or female, would tell you that the best experience they ever had was traveling and going overseas, and that's something I take great pride in.
It's easy. Listen, we spent 45 minutes, 50 minutes on this call talking about the baseball stuff, right? And all the guys you've sent off to college and the pro, it's easy to focus on that stuff. But I tell you, I kind of get bored with it. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. Like another guy went to college. Great. It's these other things that provide some excitement to me. What one of the things I appreciate so much from a guy like you is, cool, we have baseball in common, but there's also non-baseball stuff that is exciting to me to talk about. Like the one-dimensional person who can only talk baseball sort of bores me, after the first few minutes. I want to know more. And when I hear you talk about Coach Tug taking a trip to Costa Rica to play pickleball, sign me up. Sign me up. I want in on that. When you talk about taking a group of, families whose kids happen to play baseball to go do a tour of Italy, sign me up. Take my money. Where do I send my money and where do I register? Because that's those are things in 20 years, nobody's going to talk about that weekend showcase at JMU. No offense.
Well, let me tell you this, and that's the hard part. I really want to make sure that, because, I wish if I was a billionaire, I could just send all these people, but you can't. You have to do it, and there's a cost to it, and there's a cost to memories. But here's what I would say, and you're nailing it. Okay, you've got kids, right? You've got a family, and you want to give them the best. We have a very short. We're only here for so long, and bottom line is, what my kids, if Josh needs a bat, I go buy him a bat. How many bats have I bought? I buy a glove. He needs a glove. You go get him batting gloves. Okay, you go to Lake Point, or you go to this tournament or that tournament. All right, those are great. They're not going to remember that stuff. But I will tell you this, they're going to remember the trip to Italy. They're going to remember when we went as a family to go play baseball in the DR. They don't, and they stay friends with those guys that were on the trip. All these guys, they all, the men and women, it's incredible because they keep these relationships they make for a lifetime. And so that's, again, as we're growing, and this thing's growing quickly, before COVID, we were growing at 180% clip, and now we're back at it, and it's amazing to see how many people, and, it's hard because people, look there and you go, okay, there's a cost to it, but it's like, once they go, they keep coming back. And I think that's the thing I'm most proud of. So, we know we're doing it right. And like I said, they're getting not just the trip, but the 8 days prior training, and, they're getting an 18-day experience, but the trip itself is unbelievable. And, it's the experience. And sharing it with your family is huge.
Now, we are baseball guys, and a lot of your trips are baseball trips. Are you taking, I'm assuming, mostly high school guys, or how young are you going with the baseball stuff?
No. We got 12Us. Last year we had a 12U team out of Charleston, South Carolina, with Coach Gallus. That was phenomenal. Brian Mitchell from Hanahan High School. He travels with us quite a bit. His family. You know what? We literally this summer I'm going to be on. We're doing 2 cruises with college teams in June. With a graduating senior class and then an older college team. We're going to be getting off and playing in the Caribbean. And then in July, we're taking 4 teams, 1 softball at 12U, and then a 12U baseball, a 15U, and then 18U. And we're going to go to Switzerland. We're going to work out there, and then we're going to play in the Twin Tower tournament in Parma, Italy, which we've sent 2 teams and haven't won it. So we need to go over there and get after it because the baseball is so competitive. There's going to be 13 countries participating. It's a huge deal. And then I'll come back, and we're going to be taking 3 teams to the Dominican August 6th. So, and I've got Frank Leone from Mount St. Mary is going to be going, the head coach at the Mount. Mike Cassidy, the head coach at Marymount. Sam Plank. We're hoping, Billy Wagner. It looks like we're hoping he's going to confirm and be in. He's trying to work his schedule right now because he wants to do this because he's got so many connections. We've got an invite to Brandon Garr. So we've got some great coaches, some former major league players. A lot of people are wanting to get in and get involved with this, and we're just excited, man. We're real excited about it.
This is exciting stuff. I want to pause to just remind people. Go if you want to connect on Twitter. It's at MVPINTL. Okay, MVPINTL, or over on the web at MVP-INTL, and that stands for MVP International. It's at MVP-INTL.com. And but again, we geek out on baseball because we're baseball geeks. But as I mentioned before, there's also pickleball, right? Like I could see my mom going to Costa Rica to do a week of pickleball with some good talent, good instructors. Hey, guess what? There's good food. There's good activities beyond the pickleball, because I get hooked on pickleball, man. That's the fastest growing sport right now. Are there any other sports that you're doing trips with right now?
You know what? We just introduced field hockey. Each year we introduce 2 or 3 new ones. Field hockey is going to be going over to playing Scotland this summer. High school team led by Karen Holman, the head coach at Madison High School. We've actually got a wellness yoga trip going to Italy.
Ooh,
that is we've got 20 people going over to, I think 24 people going over to just to go to Italy and do yoga and kind of, at first, it was like, okay, let's try it. We're down. And I think we're excited. We were surprised how quickly that sold out. When you talk about pickleball, I'm looking at taking a group. I just recently retired from the school day, so I'm working on a group to go to Oktoberfest in late September to play pickleball because it's booming over there as well. But you know what? Flag football is our next thing. Former NFL player Keith Lyle. We're looking to get with Keith leading the way. 24. We're going to unveil. It looks like we're going to unveil flag football over in Europe because the NFL is really trying to grow over there. So we've got a lot of good things going on. A lot of sports. Gymnastics is one in 24 as well. A young lady, Nisa, out of Pennsylvania, is going to be leading a tour, gymnastics tour there in competition. So anyway, we've got a lot of great stuff going on, and our ice hockey keeps growing, basketball keeps growing. It's been special.
This is something that if you're a guy who's running an organization, this is not either or. This is like you don't have to sacrifice your normal schedule to. You don't eliminate your trip to Lake Point, okay? You don't have to, right? But what you can do, this is how I see this. This is like if I'm running an organization, we don't necessarily take our existing 16U team, but we can. If I'm the guy, like if I'm like making this up off the top of my head, I'm going, hey, all our high school families, we're gonna take a group of guys over there. The first 20 guys to sign up. Like, we're not forcing you. This is above and beyond. You're going to get 20 guys like that at the drop of a hat. And now all of a sudden you got a crew. The coach is going to get to go on an unbelievable trip. The families are going to get to go on an unbelievable trip. Is that like kind of, I mean, are you guys doing groups like that, pre-established groups all from one organization, or is it mostly individual signups that you're putting together? Like, or is it?
We do both. That's a great question. You know what? Here's the thing. We do have a kind of a registration process. We want good people. We want good kids. We don't want to babysit. We don't want to have to go over there and worry about a kid, misbehaving. We've been very fortunate of all that we've sent thousands of kids and families overseas since we started. And, we have Jason Bagby, a very, very talented coach out of here in Northern Virginia. He owns Two Bags Baseball. He's taking his team, they got 12 or 13 of them to Germany this summer. Okay. He's heard about it. He's like, Pudge, I'm in. We had a meeting, and that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's kids from like multiple teams in an organization. We also, last year we had kids from Charleston, from Northern Virginia, from 3 different states, from Maryland. So you can go, you can check us out, go to our website, there's videos, you can see what we do, you can see the trips. Like I said, we have a 74% retention rate of people that come back and go on multiple trips, over the years, which is fantastic. So to be there over 70%, and like I said, we've had multiple families. We've had some families go on 7 years in a row.
Unbelievable. So, it becomes their new summer vacation.
Yeah. And so what happens is, the majority of teams are put together, and we get them. We create camaraderie. That's what's fun about it. And you're wearing USA. We're not USA baseball, but you still you can't patent the United States of America. We represent our country when we go, and we still when we're over there, and you're still we take great pride in that. And so we've got. I'm looking at my board right now. We've got 16 organizations because I own a baseball academy, and so we've got like Prime Time has gone with us. They've gone to Japan. We have 16 partner orgs we call from around the country, and we're growing. That's going to probably be at 30 to 40 here soon as we just joined the Diamond Allegiance. And so we've got programs from Northern Virginia and throughout the country that, this has nothing to do with MVP baseball with the dogs. MVP International, we're working with all these other organizations. We're not here to try. We're not going to take your players. We have no interest in taking your players. We just want to offer them a great opportunity to see the world. And so, the coaches that are very comfortable, like Chris Bursett and John Skaggs and Jason Bagby and those guys, they know, man. And they know me. They know who I am and what we are. And so, we've got the Power Baseball out of Orlando, Florida with Eric Lasser, man. What an incredible program. They're going to be taking teams now. And so it's a great way to build your business and offer your customers something that, it doesn't have to be one team. You can work from 4 of your 13-year-old teams and put them together, We mix teams all the time. That's like, look at Sam Plank at Diamond Elite, myself and MVP, Invaders Baseball at Charlottesville, and then Metro Centers. We're all going to Dominican together, and we're bringing kids from organizations. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's right.
And that, because we have great respect for each other and that respect within the business. Nobody's, that's one of the big things.
Yeah, listen, it would be really hard to, let's just say you have an established travel team, you got 18 guys on the team. It's very hard to say, hey, mom and dad, oh, by the way, as part of this team, we're going to force you to pay multiple thousands of dollars, whatever the trip costs, to join us in this trip to Italy. That's hard. Like that's but if you're an organization and you got 5 teams at the high school level, you say, hey, 100 families. We have this opportunity, and we're looking for 15 to 20 of y'all who might want to go.
Yeah, and that's how it works. A lot of our trips are multiple team trips.
Yeah. Yeah. This is.
And, we have a fundraiser too. So we do fundraising. Like if a family maybe can't afford, they want to pay for half it. The fundraising we do is unbelievable. So anyway, we're there to help. We want to make it happen. And like I said, it's growing, and we're excited about what the future holds.
It's super exciting. Don't be surprised that you see me sign up through the website individually. I'm gonna.
I like that.
I don't even want to be a coach. I just want to go. I just want to go and hang out, especially this pickleball trip to Germany. I have a feeling I know how that's going to work. A lot of morning pickleball, not too early in the morning, like mid-morning.
You got it.
Like
you nailed it.
Mid-morning, right? A little mid-morning.
Well, you got to enjoy that breakfast buffet at the 5-star hotel.
Well, you got to shake the. It takes a little while to shake the cobwebs off from from Oktoberfest the night before.
Well, Rich, you're coming. I just add you to the list. We'll have you in Oktoberfest. It's going to be one heck of a group. We're going to have about 28 of our closest friends, and let's go play some morning pickleball.
I've been practicing, man. I've been practicing. Don't get in that kitchen. They call it the kitchen. Don't get in the kitchen.
Stay out of the kitchen. And
stay out of the kitchen.
Hey, Ron Tug. Well, I think I'm getting good, and then every time I think I'm getting good, I go play Tug, and he just puts it on me.
Well, it's a. God, you almost look at it and go, this is a silly sport. Like, and you're like, wait, why did that 85-year-old just whip me? And it happens all the time. It's so humbling. You think, I'm a better athlete than this 82-year-old, and the 82-year-old just dominates you. It's such a cool thing. Well, listen, right. we are way into this travel ball talk episode, and we haven't talked much of your travel ball. Do you have a few more minutes to tell us about the dogs? We've referenced the dogs. We've talked about MVP, the dogs. Can you just talk on those guys, brag on those guys a little bit, and then we'll work towards wrapping up.
Here's what I'll leave you with. You know what? As we wrap it up, MVP started in 2002. I've been doing summer camps outdoors since '95. Okay, but MVP, the baseball school, started at Pickett Road, 2 cages, hole in the wall. Me and my buddy Scott Rollins, who was a legendary coach in Northern Virginia, not the Hall of Famer, but Scotty Rollins, the baseball coach. He coached at South Lakes, Oakton, Centerville. Now he's coaching at Vero Beach. He's retired down in Florida, and just a guy that I've got the utmost respect for. I mean, the best I ever coached against in Northern Virginia. He was, every time we went to the yard against each other, it was crazy. Well, we ended up being business partners. We started MVP, and what started with 2 cages and a hole in the wall up on Pickett Road, it's turned into, our facilities out in Herndon now. We're growing. We've got over 40 teams in our MVP system. The high school teams are called the Dogs. The middle school teams are called the Terps. We've got younger teams, the Mustangs. Then you have the Rest and Warrior program that trains at MVP. We've got SYA Mets, we got Chantilly, we got teams from Ashburn, we get kids that come in from as far as Culpeper. So MVP has turned into something spectacular. Scotty Rowland was with me when we started going to teams. That was when he kind of retired and got out, and we kind of took the next step. It used to be a lot of lessons, but our whole thing is based on development. We've got over 30 high school coaches in Northern Virginia, the best of the best. You name it, they're in there. We've got 7 or 8 high school programs that train in there exclusively. But those coaches are our staff. And to have that, we're built a little different than most of the schools. This isn't a $1 million facility where I'm paying $30,000 in rent. We are training. You come to MVP to train, to work on your game, your swing, your defense, your pitching. Okay, our teams, the ultimate goal, we call it the evolution of a baseball player from the time they're 9U all the way to 18U. And we have a path that we think these kids need to follow. It's gotten better. Nobody's perfect at travel baseball. I don't even call it travel. We call it advanced placement, AP baseball. I don't think you have to travel anymore to get it done at any of these age groups. But it kind of has that stigma. But we call it advanced placement. It's for kids that want to take baseball a little more serious. At the 13-year Terps level, 13U, most years we've got 6 or 7 teams at that level. And then as we go up, when you get to the top level, which was our 23 group this past year, we have 2 teams. Because, again, you're not going to have 5 teams for the kids that can play in college. We have 2 very good teams at the top level. And like I said, we've got, in the 20s, 21 to 23 kids that are committed from the two teams. Which, so again, on average, we're around 20 kids per year. So bottom line is, they come out of middle school trying to make their high school roster and be the best high school player they can. We want kids to enjoy the process of becoming a great player. And too many times, everybody want instant gratification. We are not the program where if you want to go win a perfect game national championship, that's not going to happen, because we don't have kids from 5 states. We're not one of those. There's different brands in this thing, which you well know. But what we do really well. We do it with coaches that care. We develop leaders, and this is about teaching life, not just baseball. And I mean that. And there's a lot of people say it, and in this business, you know what? Most of them, we got a lot of good people, and you've also got some guys that maybe don't do things the way you think they should be done. So it's a little bit like the Wild West. I'm hoping it comes under one umbrella. I know we're working at that. I was at a summit a while back. We're trying. The Diamond Allegiance is doing it. They've got a great thing going. They're trying to bring people under the same umbrella, and bring people together. But all I know is I'm very proud of what we've built at MVP, and we're still growing. So
that's, if you want to connect with that, if you're curious what that's all about, you can find that over at Twitter, MVP_VA, or MVPBaseballSchool.com. I'm honored to get to partner up with MVP over on that side. Man, this has been an unbelievable conversation with Pudge. I appreciate your time today. This went much longer than I promised you, but man, there's a lot to get to there.
I could do it all day. Rich, let me say this real quick about you, what you're doing at Plain School. Rich, because, again, this is important. I only surround myself with great people, and that's in business. That's what I've learned from successful people. I study successful people. And what you're doing, again, with the platform and with our dogs program, a big reason why so many of our kids have gotten to the point where they are going to play in college over the past few years is, direct correlation that you've given us a platform for these kids to use your site, so coaches can go to those sites for free to see video. They get instant feedback, and I think that's really important. And in that sense, and again, like I said, so I thank what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing for the game. And one of the things I was telling you early in this call about, I think all these coaches, when I go to speak, I love speaking at state conferences. I speak nationally. And it's something I enjoy doing, but I enjoy doing it because I get to make new relationships in the game. I met a young man, Chris Randolph, and I want to say this before we go. Chris is the head coach at Cypress Creek in Houston. He's second year as head coach. He's been an assistant. And, we were talking about MVP. We were talking about his program. And literally just over a week, almost 2 weeks ago, I got a text from Chris saying that they had some serious adversity in their program. One of their players had passed away the day before. He was in college. And just say, anyway, to be able to go through that with him and share, how we've handled adversity and tragedy, these are the things that we can make a difference as coaches. So, my heart goes out to Cypress Creek High School and to that young man's family, but also I just want to say this is the most special game on the planet, man. And guys like you are the connectors for everybody. So thank you, Rich.
Well, I appreciate it. To be honest with you, I bet you that 90% of the people listening to this podcast who have heard past episodes have no idea what you're talking about, because I never talk about this. I don't use the podcast as a commercial for what I would consider my day gig, my day job. But if anybody wants to go dig into that a little bit, just go to the plainschool.com or more specifically plainschool.com/platform. And you could check out the recruiting platform that I launched, a year plus ago. And it's drop dead simple. It's really built with college coaches in mind, and it is built to be a resource to help the communication be a little more efficient from the high school and travel coaches' perspective. Just make their life a little more streamlined. When National High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame members are jumping in, it feels good, because it is funny when I get people who say, well, we place all our guys. We don't need any more software or any more marketing tools. I go, everybody I work with places all their guys. You either want to become more efficient or you don't. And
you're right.
You know, it's like it's like I'm not working with clubs who aren't placing all their guys. They place all their guys. You know, so
we all make a difference, Rich. We can all make a difference. That's big.
That's it. And part of this is like there's only so much time of the day, and you look at a guy like Pudge, you go, my goodness, man, how there's a reason this thing's gone an hour and 25 minutes. It's because you stay busy. My goodness gracious.
I'm loving life, man. And you know what? I take more pride in being a great dad and being a family guy, and I've been able to make it all work. I've been present, but I love what I do. When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. So,
well, I don't want to.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I hope I'm not the first one to mention that you're closing in on. You are just a mere months away from being empty nesters. So which is gonna, I'm sure that's gonna open up lots of time for you to find more ways to, to create impact around the world. I'm guessing MVP Athletic Dreams is gonna fill some of that void.
We are. You know what? My wife's very involved in what we're doing, and she loves pickleball as much as I do. So that's something we've been doing together. But we're going to be able to do some really cool things here, and we've got some, together. And my family, my kids are involved with this. It's something that they love doing, and even they can do. They're going to do their thing. But I think for years to come, we want to stay involved. And the fact that I'm doing it with guys like Matt Foley and Eli Facenda and Justin Counts, who just went to a state title in football. These guys are all, former players and they're friends of mine. And so we're building this thing together one day at a time. So thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Final word. If anybody happens to be in or around the area of Vienna, what you're going to want to do is head over to the Vienna Inn. You're going to want to order yourself a little breakfast or a little lunch, get a coffee, maybe a cold beverage, and just throw up the bat signal. And Pudge will literally just walk across the street because that's where his office is, and he'll join you. And again, the thing that probably struck me the most was when you mentioned earlier that the mayor of Vienna reached out to you to be the grand marshal of the Halloween parade. And the reason that struck me as odd is because I thought you were the mayor.
No, I wouldn't want that. Linda Colbert, man, we're blessed. We've got an incredible mayor. It's the best town in the country, and if you're from Vienna, you get it. And if you're homegrown, man, we take great pride in our town, and we're fortunate to have Linda, and she's a huge supporter in everything we do. So.
Thank you for your time today. This again, it went twice as long, but it was twice as good.
You're the best, Rich. I appreciate you. Appreciate everything you do, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Talk to you later. See ya.
God bless.